through the next couple of hours, it's going to pick up in intensity and get a little more uniform. It's also going to flip to rain for some. For the southwest in particular, we're already seeing that transition. Now, Atlantic Canada, you want to keep your ears open for the Ontario-Quebec forecast because all of that is heading your way overnight tonight. Today, it is much more clear ahead of that, so get your running around done today. If you have to do a grocery shop, today is the day to do it because things will change quite quickly overnight tonight. Southern New Brunswick up towards Fredericton, including St. John, and then all the way eastward towards the boundary with Nova Scotia. Snowfall warnings are in effect. We've got wind warnings in all three maritime provinces. Wind gusts tomorrow will be 90 kilometers an hour. And then special weather statements outside of that, including Newfoundland this time. Areas along the coast in Newfoundland will see about 5 centimeters of snow, but further inland sections, maybe about 15 centimeters. And the south coast of Nova Scotia expecting to see quite heavy rainfall moving its way in. Now, today ahead of that, other than the western edge of Cape Breton and the southwest of Newfoundland, things will be fairly quiet. You'll get a few flurries moving their way through. But then overnight tonight, the winds start to pick up, the cloud cover builds, and the snow moves in. Now, that snow for some will last through sunrise. It will then flip over to rain in the southern sections of both New Brunswick and Nova Scotia. PEI, you'll be in snow first. Mid-afternoon, you flip over to rain. Cape Breton, same story. Now, this all arrives tomorrow evening in Newfoundland, first for the southwest. And when it does, those wreck house winds will pick up to 130 to 150 kilometers an hour, and that sticks around in Newfoundland and Labrador through Thursday. Now, today, ahead of that, it started to arrive in southwest and southern Ontario, but as you can see, it's kind of patchy in its intensity. Some people aren't seeing snow at all yet. There are widespread winter storm warnings further north because this storm is going to bring a lot of snow for communities in central Ontario, Ottawa, Montreal, Quebec City, and then up towards central and northern New Brunswick, including Miramichi. South of Montreal, there is the risk of seeing freezing rain associated with this. Heavy snowfall kind of surrounding the winter storm warning. South of that, weather advisories and special weather statements, including cities like Toronto, Hamilton, London, down towards Windsor. We're going to break down the storm in detail and what you can expect in terms of timing coming up in the next half hour. For now, here's a look at your local forecast. Lindsay, thank you. It's a really dynamic weather day, just meaning that we have two very different systems hitting Ontario, Quebec, and Atlantic Canada, and then on the west coast as well. Pardon me. We'll start first for Western Canada. This Pacific frontal system is driving a lot of moisture, very strong winds through BC, but also the U.S. Northwest as well. And this is going to spurt off an Alberta clipper. So it helps with the formation of a secondary system that drives a lot of snowfall for some portions of the prairies. We also have widespread warnings, not only through BC and into Saskatchewan in terms of snowfall, but winter storm warnings. Some of these highway passes in BC will pick up 30 to 50 centimeters of snow. This paler blue that you see in Alberta, Saskatchewan, Northwest Territories, and Yukon, those are extreme cold warnings. So let's look at the temperature. Right now, it's minus 24 in Regina, minus 24 in Winnipeg, Yellowknife minus 38. But hey, guess what? With the wind, it feels like minus 49 this morning, and extreme cold is going to be in place for the next several days. Now, that cold air descending across Canada is causing precipitation to flip over to snow for many spots that have seen rather consistent rain for the last several weeks. So we'll see heavy snowfall east of Vancouver. Whistler is in a position where you'll see like 10 to 20 centimeters of snow. But this fuchsia that you get into, that is indicative of the 30 to 50 centimeter range. A lot more snow into the BC southeast as well. Communities like the Shuswap seeing that 15 to 30 centimeter amount of snow. Then that moisture slides into Alberta. So already, pardon me, we started to see that snow from areas like Grand Prairie down through Calgary and then down towards the Lethbridge area. This slides its way eastward, so through the Cypress Hills into Provincial Park, communities along the Trans-Canada. This is going to include like Swift Current all the way eastward towards Moose Jaw and then up towards the Kindersley area. Set to see snow this afternoon. This is coming with very gusty winds as well, so blowing and drifting snow. We know how bad it can get on those kind of prairie highways with the visibility reduced, so check out the highway report before you're doing any travel. This will start to creep its way into southern Manitoba as we go into tomorrow. This will affect communities from Dauphin to Brandon and then east to Winnipeg. Once that moves there, everything clears in behind it. So this is a shorter duration event for you in Western Canada. Now, conversely, on the eastern half of the country, we have a longer duration event, so a storm that's going to last more days, but then in behind that, there's more moisture. So this is this Texas low driving its way up towards Ontario and Quebec. That snow has already started in the southwest and southern parts of the province. weekends. We're already seeing that transition to rain for the Sarnia area. It's light now. It is going to pick up in intensity, and we have widespread warnings with this from Ontario, east of Summit. We also have those extreme cold warnings to talk about in Alberta and Saskatchewan. We've got an Alberta Clipper moving its way through and a Pacific low hitting the west coast. All of that is driving a lot of snow. I'll talk about who will see half a meter of snow coming up in the next half hour. For now, here's a look at what you can expect today. Began to develop, moving its way in. And Texas lows are notoriously challenging for Ontario, Quebec, and Atlantic Canada for 6 provinces because it pulls in all this moisture from the Gulf of Mexico, combines with cold air to the north, and creates a mess through the region. So when we zoom into southwest and southern Ontario, you can see that that snow creeping its way into the region. Winds are starting to see maybe a little bit of a break, but that heavier snow tracking across Lake Erie this morning. If you are in the Hamilton area, Kitchener-Waterloo, you might see those flakes flying now. The real impact comes throughout the day today, and I'll tell you, we got widespread warnings. Look at the map. This is wild. I'll break these down in detail coming up, but we have special weather statements in yellow, weather advisories in orange, snowfall warnings in white, winter storm warnings in dark blue, a freezing rain warning mixed in, and then wind warnings taking us right through Atlantic Canada, all from the same system. So in terms of the snowfall, if you are in a paler blue, you have less snow. This will include communities right along the shores of Lake Huron, Lake Erie, and then creeping from Hamilton towards the downtown Toronto area, 3 to 7 centimeters of snow. The reason why it's less snow is it mixes faster with rain, which will limit those snowfall totals. The further north you get, the more cold air there is and the more snow there'll be. The royal blue here, 7 to 15 centimeters of snow, and the navy blue, including cities like Ottawa and perhaps Montreal, 15 to 30 centimeters of snow. So the impact of this is really dependent on your location. Once the snow flips to rain, this is what we're looking at for totals. For communities east of Toronto heading towards the Kingston area, 30 millimeters of rain plus are possible. And that obviously is going to limit the snow totals. Through the day today, this spreads its way northward. By mid-afternoon, we're in full-on snow. So be prepared to be commuting home through that. Down towards Windsor, it'll flip right over to rain. Ottawa, the snow arrives for the afternoon. Montreal as well. You'll be driving home through this. It really intensifies overnight, and by early tomorrow morning, begins to move its way into Atlantic Canada. Showers will linger for Ottawa and Montreal, with snow flurries in behind for all areas that flipped over to snow. There's another system on the way, and all of this is moving into Atlantic Canada. So I've got you covered in the next half hour. For now, here's your local forecast. Communities in central Ontario, the Ottawa area, Montreal, northern New Brunswick, for example. This big Texas low barreling up towards the northeast, and it's one of 2 storms set to impact the same area as we go through the next several days into the weekend. For Western Canada, we have a Pacific low that is hitting the BC coast and the U.S. Pacific Northwest, and that is creating an Alberta Clipper on the eastern side of the Rockies. So widespread warnings, snowfall in the white in BC, Alberta, and Saskatchewan, extreme cold in Alberta and Saskatchewan, Northwest Territories, and Yukon, and winter storm warnings for those BC mountain passes where we could see anywhere between 30 to 50 centimeters of snow. It is very cold in the prairies, minus 13 in Edmonton, minus 25 for Regina, minus 24 in Winnipeg and Yellowknife, minus 38, but with the wind feeling like minus 49 this morning. Wind chill in in Estevan, you'll stay in the snow by evening. It'll also be in place in between Regina and Saskatoon through the Capel Valley and then into west central communities as well. And then that will slide its way eastward into Manitoba as we go into Wednesday afternoon. As that happens, everything clears westward of that, and you'll see blue sky to round out your midweek forecast. Now, the eastern half of Canada, widespread advisories and warnings all the way from east of Superior to Newfoundland. And this is from that Texas low. The snowfall totals will be greater the further north and east you go. So anywhere in these paler blues, this pale blue right down to the southwest of Ontario, that's like 2 centimeters of snow. This slightly darker blue right along communities towards Hamilton, and then right along Lake Ontario, including Toronto, 3 to 7 centimeters, and it could be on the lower end if it flips over to rain earlier. The royal blue is 7 to 15, including Kitchener-Waterloo, and then up towards the Peterborough area, and then Ottawa, Montreal, 15 to 30 centimeters. Communities in central Ontario could pick up even more snow. We'll also see the flip over to rain, and for some it's already happening. The blue is 15 to 30 millimeters. Areas east of Toronto could see a little bit more rain. That rain and snow will continue to move its way northward as we go through the afternoon. It's really patchy now. It will increase in intensity and its widespread snowfall coverage as we go through the next couple of hours. By mid-afternoon, Ottawa, you're in that snow. By evening, Montreal, you are as well. This precipitation moves into Atlantic Canada overnight, and in behind for Wednesday leaves behind very gusty winds, cold air, and flurries. Now, we'll track the storm into Atlantic Canada in the next half hour. For now, here's your local forecast.